Neil Gaiman finally broke his silence about all of the allegations against him. This is huge. I think he thought it would fly under the radar if he just went dark. He has hired a PR crisis management firm as early as February last year, from what we've been able to tell. Yes, it's over a year. He's kind of known this is coming and went completely silent. When the Tortoise podcast came out last year and more, he didn't say anything. I think he thought that the mainstream media would simply sweep for him and cover this up so that it'd just go away, that he was too big to fail. And when New York Magazine came out with their expose with the horrific details about what he's done allegedly to others and to the Scarlet Lady, it's just too gross for people to deal with anymore. And so he had to respond to it. And he said, I don't accept there was any abuse. We're going to get into the crux of what he said and why this reads like a PR statement and see people's reactions. I don't think people are buying any of this whatsoever in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We talk about all things in science fiction and fantasy here, guys. This is the biggest story of the year, and I really appreciate you all for being here and supporting our channel as we uncover what's going on. We've been talking about the Neil Gaiman situation for over a year when nobody else in the industry would, because there's too much clout involved with it. There's too many big contracts involved with it. People didn't want to get on his bad side, and I think there's a lot of that going on within the industry as it is. Where there's a male feminist, though, you know what happens. And we are also creating our own culture, doing our own thing in parallel. And of course, I'm coming out with books on the regular. I've just finished up a second book of a trilogy that's going to spin out of this here. If you like science fiction, guys, check out the Arroz War. I really put my heart and soul into this. This is my baby of a project. I built a beautiful science fiction space opera universe, which I'd love for you to get in on right here. It starts with a spy who embeds himself on an alien starship as humanity is getting embroiled in this war against the mysterious Arrozian people. And this three-book trilogy really builds up. It pays off for you guys. It's so much fun. And people, of course, send me nice messages every day. I really appreciate you for reading. So check it out. It's in the description below. Support alternative culture, guys. This is it. We got to do something different than the Neil Gaimans out there. And I appreciate you for being here. It's in the description below, as I said, with ebook, print, and audio available for your reading convenience. Get the whole trilogy today. Okay. So Neil Gaiman has responded, as I said, and as we know, he was rocked with his interview with the former nanny Scarlet. Here's a virtue signaling picture, hashtag he for she. Yes, he's quite the male feminist. He's quite the, he's for her, for sure. He responded on his blog and said this: over the past many months, I've watched the stories circulating on the internet about me with horror and dismay. Of course, I've stayed quiet until now, both out of respect for the people who were sharing their stories and out of a desire not to draw even more attention to a lot of misinformation. So right here, no apology, no nothing. Now, it's weird because we've seen public apologies that have been shown that he's given to some of these women. He's paid for therapy for these women. So it's quite the opposite. Like, he kind of, like, obviously in his actions has known that he's had some wrongdoing going on. And this is why I say it's clearly just a PR sort of thing. Misinformation. He's using leftist terminology again that they use, to go against President Trump and things like that. He's trying to signal to that leftist crowd that I'm one of you. It's always a political game with Neil Gaiman. It has been this entire time. He is a master of this, and he's got a PR crisis firm going over every single word here. And it's very, very obvious. And this is where the lies come out right here, guys. I've always tried to be a private person. Now, this threw me out of it right away, and it took me immediately into he's lying about all of this, obviously. He's never tried to be a private person. Neil Gaiman is one of the biggest fame whores out there. Like, he's almost as bad as those OnlyFans girls who are, trying to, rake up their body counts live on the air and then brag about it to the mainstream media. He really is. He's taken nude pictures of himself and posted them up there. He does this whole rock star persona intentionally. He's bragged about his polyamorous relationship with Amanda Palmer and goes out and he tries to be intimate with fans in these gatherings. Quite the opposite. He's been about the most public person possible with about everything he's done. This is the most insulting thing he could have said to fans right here to open this up. And I think that's where psychologically a lot of the people are just going to go, this is not right. And felt increasingly that social media was the wrong place to talk about important personal matters. I wouldn't call this a personal matter, bro. We've got 9 women accusing you of just horrific things right here. It's not personal. This is a big deal. Should have apologized way early on, said, I'm trying to do my best, I'm trying to be better, but you don't. You've done the opposite of this. You've called it misinformation. You said you've stayed quiet now. You claim you're respecting these people, and you're doing the quite opposite and saying none of this ever happened in this whole letter right here. You've lied and said you're a private person when that's your entire persona. It's really crazy. Now I've reached the point where I feel that I should say something. Yeah, now that it's a mainstream media sort of thing, now that you feel like it's out there and it's not going to get swept under the rug, now that all the outlets that have been intentionally not reporting this just to cover up for you actually are forced to say something because everybody's looking at this story, okay, now you say something. This is a year into this, guys. I mean, this is so disingenuous, it's out of control. As I've read through the latest collection of accounts, there are moments I half recognize and moments I don't. Descriptions of things that happened sitting beside things that emphatically did not happen. And of course, look at this. No specifics, no nothing. Just like he leaves it to your imagination. That's the thing here. I'm far from a perfect person, but I have never. And that this tells me a lot that, you know, again, not really all the way a denial of a lot of this stuff, because a lot of it was really gross. A lot of it was really degrading. A lot of it was violent. It was crazy reading that New York Magazine article. And here it goes. I have never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone ever. A lot of the women said they said no, but of course, Neil Gaiman in his mind has like warped this and said this and such already before this sort of thing, and that it was some kind of BDSM relationship. And even though they said no, that doesn't mean no in the context of that kind of thing. I really think he's convinced himself this, which is really creepy as well. Oh my gosh. I went back and read the messages I exchanged with the women around the occasions and have subsequently been reported as being abusive. These messages read now as they did when I received them, of two people enjoying entirely consensual sexual relationships and wanting to see one another again. At the time I was in those relationships, they seemed positive and was happy on both sides. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, bro. Look it up. And by the way, this is quite the different account than what we've seen from like the text where the women like have reported they felt uneasy with it, how he said he's going to help them with therapy, how he offered to pay off a couple of them. I mean, again, you know, this just does not jive with reality of what we've seen out there from this already. I also do realize looking through them years later, I could have and should have done so much better. Oh gosh. Yes. Please clap. I was emotionally unavailable while being sexually available. He's the victim here, guys. Self-focused and not as thoughtful as I should have been. And he still is. He's a narcissist, as clearly shown in this. I was obviously careless with people's hearts and feelings. And geez, wow, look at this. And that's something I deeply regret. Wow, look at this. This is all like, oh, I rejected these women. That's why they're mad. Wow. Couldn't be further from the truth. It was selfish of me, and I caught up in my own story. I ignored other people's. I spent some months now taking a long, hard look at who I have been and how I've made people feel. Again, he just embraces that there's no reality going on. It's just about these people's feelings, right? It's so sick. This is like gaslighting on that level where, you know, you better do what your master says, like the article was saying, right? Like most of us, I'm learning, trying to do the work needed. I know that it's not an overnight process. I hope with the help of good people, I'll continue to grow. Yeah, we don't want you to grow in this, Neil Gaiman. This is not a good thing. I understand that not everyone will believe me or even care what I say, but I'll be doing the work anyway for myself, for my family, for the people I love. And that's all this has been about. It's been about for himself over and over and over again. I will be doing the best to deserve their trust as well as the trust of my readers. At the same time, I reflect on my past as I re-review everything that actually happened as opposed to what's being alleged. I don't accept there was any abuse. To repeat, I have never engaged in any non-consensual sexual activity with anyone. Very, very weird way he's phrasing this, guys. Like, it's like, okay. Some of the horrible stories now being told never happened, while others have been so distorted from what actually took place they bear no relationship to reality. I am prepared to take responsibility for any missteps I made. No, you're not. You just said the opposite. You'd spent an entire blog saying you're not going to take any responsibility. What are you talking about? I'm not willing to turn my back on the truth, and I can't accept being described as someone I am not, and I cannot and will not admit to doing things I didn't do. All right. Wow. I mean, the problem right here, again, you just get right back into the first paragraph. I've tried to be a private person. At this point, it's such a lie. It's such an obvious, like, overstep that you just, like, at this point, you go, like, well, what else is this guy saying? And this is a bunch of word salad gobbledygook that is meaningless. It's very, very combed over. It's very, very edited. You can tell he's using buzzwords in this, like, to just, again, virtue signal his leftism, his wokeism, just through the word choices that he uses. And it very much just reads like something that's just fake And this is a lot of what's been going on, and a lot of these women's thought of this as well. You can see it. It was all like a big fake thing where they were just in a spot where they thought they were abused because of this, and it's really, really sick. I think there's more going to come out, to be honest, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. It now is in the mainstream media. It is now being reported about. I mean, J.K. Rowling compared him to Harvey Weinstein yesterday. Very, very crazy. And we'll see what happens as this story goes along, and we'll be reporting on it here. What do you think of Neil Gaiman's apology? Are you buying what he's saying here? Leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. And please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us and check out my Arroz War trilogy, guys. This is good fun. This is good science fiction. You're going to enjoy it. Get the whole trilogy on ebook, print, and audio in the description. Really appreciate you guys supporting our work.